and welcome. This is Lithuanian Dream Podcast, and I'm your host, Rūta Nojokaitė. Today, we have a very special guest for you. In 2017, Rodger Martin was named the world's top #1 management thinker. He has written 12 books and 29 Harvard Business Review articles. He invented several concepts in management, including design thinking. It is a huge honor to have this world-class thinker on our podcast today, especially because we will be talking about some key issues Lithuania as a country and its businesses are facing today. As you may know, in just a few days, on the 11th of March, Lithuania will be celebrating regaining its independence. And after 30 years of work, Lithuania is no longer a middle-income country. We are a high-income country now. However, we're experiencing significant income inequality among our citizens, and there are plenty of things to improve in our education system, as well as different routes to take for our businesses. So we invited Rodger to discuss these issues and ask his opinion as a top world thinker on business and economies. Rodger, thank you for joining us today. So I see some art behind you. What is it?
Well, that is artwork from my Harvard Business Review articles. Harvard Business Review just commissions artists to do art for the articles on a one-time use basis, and so the artist still has it. So I contact them and get it for my gallery because it makes me happy to have remnants of my articles sitting behind me.
Well, it's amazing how great ideas come together with art, and then.
Yes, they do a good job. Harvard Business Review, I think, does a great job of commissioning really interesting art that reinforces the message of the article. So I want to reward them for doing a good job, if you will.
Yes, amazing. Yes, I listen to their podcast and read the books as well as articles. A really good work, and I think everyone references to them if they want to solve some issues in management level or organizational level.
Yes. Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad. That's where I do most of my writing. So I'm glad you find it interesting.
For sure. And I find interesting your books, actually. So I would like to start by talking about your latest book, When More Is Not Better, Overcoming Americans' Obsession with Economic Efficiency.
Yes.
So in this book, you talk about short-term focus on maximizing shareholder returns as the root cause of the inequality and economic instability. So what do you think is the better model? Is it something similar to what we have in Europe now?
Well, I wrote the book on the U.S. in part because I think the U.S. has gone farthest down an unhelpful track. So it's pushed this idea of economic efficiency, shareholder value maximization the furthest. And so I would agree. I think Europe has gone less far down that path, and that's a good thing. So the kinds of things that I think would make kind of companies perform better for the economy as a whole is to be able to think more long term and not fall prey to this idea that by cutting out all kind of waste, tamping down labor rates as much as possible, getting rid of excess workers, all of that stuff, which is obsessively pursuing this quarter's earnings and not thinking about the future. I think Europe does less of that, and I mean, most Europeans would be shocked to know that in the U.S. Work is considered by the term at will, which means the company can, without having to give a reason and with no warning, just terminate the employment of any employee, right? That would be an anathema in most European countries where the worker has way more rights. And so I think a greater balance between the rights of workers and the rights of companies is a good thing. Europe is more inclined in that way. I also think that having more of a productive relationship and working hard to have a productive relationship between workers and management and shareholders is important, and that's again a hallmark of many European countries. I think a mix is required, right? There are some great things about the U.S. Economy, but the point of the book in part is we've just pushed things to the extreme. We've taken a good thing, and that's why I say when more is not better. More ice cream is good for a while, but after a while, too much ice cream makes you unhealthy. Too much of this efficiency, too much of this aggressive pursuit of it is what's getting America into real trouble.
Yes, for sure. And like sometimes people are joking about the fact that Americans do work 12 or 10 hours a day. And it is quite a big difference between 9 to 5 that we're used to, for instance, in Lithuania or Germany, where I live now. And what do you think can we take from US as well, despite the long working hours and sometimes pushing too hard? But what can we learn as European states?
Well, I guess I think the creativity of the U.S. economy is a wonderful thing, and so I think that on the kind of one extreme would be a super conservative kind of country that says you can't fail. If you fail, you're a failure. Your children are a failure. Your children's children are the grandchildren of a failed person. In the U.S., if you fail, there's more acceptance of you getting up, trying again, and in due course succeeding. So I think that's an important thing. I do think that, and many European countries are doing a great job at this, but embracing technology. I mean, technology is there to hopefully, at its best, make the lives of people kind of better, easier, etc. And so I think the U.S. has done a really good job of investing in technology. And the other thing I would say to any country is that if you're going to have a knowledge economy, right, you have to have educated workforce, and we still have a situation in countries where, as we go into a knowledge economy, there still aren't enough spots in the higher education system for the students who I think are qualified for it. The exception would be South Korea. South Korea has the most entry spots in the tertiary education system per graduating high school student in the world. And I think that's one of the reasons why Korea is doing so well in a knowledge economy. It has knowledgeable people. So